everyone. I hope that you guys had a really good weekend. I had a pretty good one. It wasn't that amazing, but it was fine. And I'm back today on Tuesday to talk about something else again. But this week's subject is not exactly like last week's. Last week's was very, very dance oriented. And that's not the only thing that I'm here about, though it's the main thing that I'm here about. So this week, if you've read this week's blog post, you'll notice that it's not really exclusively based on dancing. So if you haven't read it, go and read it. Today's talk is not really just about dancing either. It's about something that's, I think, much more important than that, and a problem that a lot of people actually probably do have, which is when you have an interest or you have a talent and suddenly you find that you're so excited and you don't tell anybody about it. Now, I've experienced this myself as well for a little while, maybe for a few months, but I know that for a lot of people this can go on for many, many years. It's like there's a talent, there's something that you think you're really good at or you think you'll become good at, and it's all consuming, but at the same time, almost nobody knows that you do this thing at all. Why is that? It's very strange. And I think that people are afraid to tell people. I was afraid to tell people because I thought they're going to be like, okay, well, get up and show us right now, which is kind of crazy, although that has happened several times. But I think what people are scared of is that they'll be asked to suddenly display their brilliance, and that this brilliance doesn't exist yet, or they don't have the confidence to show it just yet, but they will maybe in a few months. And so you're afraid that people will find out that you're actually a fraud. So I think the best thing, you're not actually a fraud, but they might think you're one. You think they might think you're one, or whatever. But the point is that's what I want to talk about today, because I came up with 3 things, hopefully that'll help you to get over this, because I think it's so important that people do openly discuss whatever talent it is that they're pursuing or whatever interest it is that they want to build into something bigger, because if you don't, you're not going to take the opportunities that present themselves, because nobody knows that you do this, and you're not going to have the confidence to make opportunities of your own. So this is going to be a problem, and it's going to hold you back. So let's first look at the reality, put this little question in perspective first, which is that actually this concern doesn't make any sense. First of all, most people that you speak to will not actually have any idea whatsoever what you're talking about. Unless they're interested in the same thing, they're just going to be like, oh wow, that's great, you're amazing, if you show them something. They're not going to know the difference. So you're worried about criticism that probably won't come, because the people who you'll be sharing it with, even though it's important to share it with some people, they're probably not really going to have any idea if you're making mistakes. They're not going to care, they won't know the difference. So it's fine. Most people won't really know. The other thing I think that helps put this in perspective is to realize that when you speak to people about whatever talent it is that you're pursuing or you're interested in, they're going to hear what you're saying, but they're going to take everything that you say and probably apply it to their own, because everybody usually has one that's hidden away somewhere, or a secret one or something. So while they're listening to you, they're not actually just listening to you waiting to trip you up. They're listening to you and they're trying to take something away from it. So they're probably going to have more of a positive response than you expected, no matter what, because they're going to be excited about what you're saying for their own personal reasons too, which is fine. That's not really selfish. It's just how it happens a lot of the time. So that's fine. No matter who you speak to, probably they're going to have a much more positive response than you think. However, you may still not feel confident enough to talk about what it is that you're interested in. So I thought of 3 little easy ways to get to that point where you want to openly talk about it, and where you're comfortable enough to openly share your talents and your interests, and then pursue them and become better at them. So the first one, which I think is the best one, is to tell one person first. Make sure this is a very, very positive person, the kind of person who only ever has good things to say to you. Maybe not about everything, but definitely about you. Find somebody like that. If you don't, you can just tell me, because I'm like that. So tell them, and you will feel better, because when you see a positive response, you'll have the confidence to tell other people, even if they kind of look at you like, okay, what are you talking about? You have that first positive response to fall back on, and you can always measure everything against that and hold that in your memory. So first pick one person who you know will have a really positive response and tell them first. And don't forget what they say. You can record it if you want, and if they don't think that's creepy. The second thing that you can do is to take a little bit of what it is that you're pursuing or building and have it with you at all times. For example, let's go back to dance. If you wanted to become a hip-hop dancer, you take something from the way, maybe from the music or from the clothes or something from the whole like artistic culture around that, and incorporate it into your own self. So you have you as you are right now and something from what it is that you're becoming. Take it and have it with you at all times. It'll make you feel more comfortable about expressing that interest, and it'll get you comfortable playing the part, which will actually help you to talk about it with more authority, or to feel like you have more authority to be interested in that. So those are 2 tips. And the third and final one, which is the most important one, is just tell people with a little bit of a sense of humor. People are often going to first be like, what are you talking about? And take things very seriously. So the best thing to do is for you to not be too serious when you announce your pursuits and your talents in the first place. And the less seriously you portray it, the less serious your responses be. So the less people will feel like they have to give you a measured and serious response, and they'll just take joy in your news like you are in telling them. So whatever you do, however you approach it, whatever it is that you're interested in building or that you're working on, don't keep it to yourself. Talk about it openly, and the more people you tell, the easier it'll become, the more natural it'll feel, and you won't feel like a fraud, which you shouldn't. And it'll help you to fully develop your talents and your interests, and not to miss any opportunities along the way. So this is important stuff, don't forget it. So today's lesson basically is if you are pursuing something that you want to become better at, tell everybody. Doesn't matter what stage you're at, tell everybody openly, and you'll feel more authentic yourself, which can only help. Okay, I'll see you next week. Thank you for watching. Bye.